This episode is about the next 20 videos I will post. Beyond that, I am hoping to do more reviews of organizations and hopefully book summaries, consistent with the intention of this channel. Thus far, I am having difficulty getting book publishers to grant me permission. They simply are not responding. I just need to be more persistent, and I'll get it done. The first 2 episodes will be on me. I write about myself for a few reasons. I feel that with any life, much more could have been done. We all could have come much closer to obtaining our potential. I certainly believe this about my life. I could and should have contributed more to humanity. But how? I feel my education could have been much better. I could have been taught to think better critically and at a younger age. When I question such things as the education system in my episodes, I am in part questioning what could have made me better. I am mostly satisfied with the effort I have given education, but not the outcome. I am not satisfied with the efficiency and productivity of my efforts, but that is from not knowing how to be more efficient and productive. I have studied and sought the answers, but the answers have not come as strongly as I had hoped. I struggled more with some subjects than I would have liked. Higher math, for example, calculus and beyond. And despite having studied over 20 languages and having quite an interest in that direction, my development in a language does not come as quickly as I feel it should. As I post more and more on this channel, I will always be asking myself how potential can be more and more of a reality. I will think back to my past, not in despair for what could have been, but rather to learn from it and apply it to the future. In one part, my continuation to understand might be viewed as an attempt to better understand all things. This in order to be able to mentor my younger self as to the best way to go about everything. If I could go back to my younger self, I ask, what is it that I could say to him in the interest of bringing him to his full potential? In one episode, I take a little closer look at diet, and we'll do more of that in the future. We go about many things as if we're a second-tiered civilization. Health is one of them. While convenience and being able to have access to food quickly is nice, we have let that become the priority over nutritious food. This has come and is coming at an increasingly greater cost. For 12 episodes, I will be going back and forth between my trip to the Cordillera Blanca mountain range in Peru and a look at various aspects of our education. The first episode on the trip will look at why I chose to travel to South America and how I structured it. I knew it was not a good time to visit South America, and there were extensive warnings against visiting. It was my opportunity, and I had to take advantage of it. I was prepared for bloodshed, war, witnessed a tremendous suffering, violence, and having my life put on the line. Had I not been prepared, I don't feel I would have physically made it out alive, and the trip lent itself to a number of possibilities of PTSD, but I believe my preparation allowed me to avoid that. My preparations proved necessary as I faced adversity daily and often throughout a given day. I faced levels of extreme violence that were new to me. 5 of these episodes are about my trip to Cordillera Blanca, the highest set of mountains in the Peruvian Andes, some above 22,000 feet, 6,700 meters. This would be no normal hike. Peru would assure me that, and would hold me witness to things even the worst of my nightmares could not have imagined. I would learn some Quechua and Aymara while there, the languages of the descendants of the Incas. I will return later to tell more of my stories from around South America. Peru alone, with all that happened to me, could easily lend itself to a book's worth of extreme events. A common theme throughout my channel is education, and several of the next 20 episodes will be on this. One reason I continually look at education is because some of those I grew up with were left behind, never developed, and worse, were turned into monsters. When I say monsters, I mean the most hardened of criminals. I grew up in a middle to upper middle class neighborhood, but in our neighborhood, nearly all went to a Dutch Reformed Christian school. I went to public schools. The school bus that came through our area after would mostly pick up kids who were from extreme poverty. I befriended many of those, but only first after having to fight for my survival among them. Meanwhile, outside of school, in athletics, and mostly in school, I would hang around the students from the wealthy areas. I chose not to hang out with the extreme poverty kids outside of school because their world was full of extreme violence, gangs, and hard drugs. I would be exposed to that at school also, but not to the level that was found in their neighborhoods. I watched over the years as my impoverished friends would entirely fall out of the school system. I watched many of them, as I describe it, lose their souls. I found many of them to be every bit, if not more, charismatic, exhibiting exceptional leadership skills, and every bit as intelligent as my friends from wealthy homes. My friends from wealthy areas went on to impressive degrees, many Ivy League or world-class educational institutions, and a great deal of success in their lives. Had I been an adult when my impoverished friends were young, I feel I could have mentored them to be what my wealthy friends became. None of my impoverished friends made it to high school, and most were imprisoned by what would have been their 9th grade year of school. We complain about the burden the poor have on society, but yet we do little to nothing to change this. If we develop the poor as they should be developed, they would contribute every bit as much as the non-poor do. Instead, we often sentence them to growing up in what are basically war zones, abusive households, often horrible education systems, and on top of it, convince them that there is not a place for them in society. Why do we feel this is the best way to go about things? Why do we not question how to best develop everyone so they can contribute to our world, to our lives, to more fulfilling their potential? I feel too many children are not as educated as they should be. The system either completely gives up on them, or way too much emphasis is placed on a child's natural ability to negotiate through the system, which is often strongly influenced by their home life. The system is rigid and will only create an exceptional student out of one who easily moves through the system. Another area we as a country do poorly is to continue educating adults throughout their lives. We as a country would be far better off if we did this, and with things rapidly changing as they are, I feel it critical that this be done. I will post a number of episodes on a suggested platform for all adults. This will include episodes on integrating those who have fallen out of the system, employment career directionals for everyone, strengthening life skills and understandings in all areas, learning how society works and contributing to it, and one on exceptionalism. Essentially, this platform would be for all people to better develop all areas of their lives. Please subscribe and like. YouTube will send these videos to others based on subscriptions and likes. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next episode, which is about me.